Friends, welcome, salutations, Mahar Navami, wonderful day, divinity everywhere. Let us to invoke Mother's grace. Today, let us do the second portion of Saraswati Suktam Parayanam, invoking Mother Saraswati to enter into us, to bless us, to give us the clear picture of Paramatma Tattva through the regular study of Shastra, and it should inspire us to make that Paramatma alone as the goal. And may Mother bless us also for the clarity of the sadhana, the means. May she empower us really to do the due sadhanas relentlessly without any obstacle and make us reach out to the self immediately, instantaneously, very soon, without any delay. From the 21st mantra, Om Ata Saraswati Suktam बृहदुगायिषेवचो सूर्या नदीनां सरस्वतीमिन्महया सुभृक्तिभिः स्तोमैर्वसिष्ठरोदसी उभे यत्ते महिना शुभ्रे अन्धसि अधिक्ष्यन्ति पूरवः सानो बोध्यवित्री मरुत्सखाचोदरादो मघोनां भद्रमिद्भद्रा कृणवत् सरस्वत्यकवारी चेतति वाजिनीवती गृणाना जमदग्निवत्स्तु वाना च वसिष्ठवत् जनीयन्तोऽन्वग्रवः पुत्रीयन्तः सुदानमः सरस्वन्तं हवामहे ये ते सरस्व ऊर्मयो मधुमन्तो घृतश्च्युतः तेभिर्नो विताभव पिपीवांसं सरस्वतस्तरं यो विश्वदर्शतः भक्षीमहि प्रजामिषम् अम्बितमेनदीतमे देवितमे सरस्वती अप्रशस्ता इव स्मसि प्रशस्तिमम्बनस्कृधि द्वे विश्वा सरस्वतिश्चितायूंषि देव्यां शुनहोत्रेषु मत्स्व प्रजां देवि दिदिढ्ढिनः इमा ब्रह्म सरस्वती जुषस्व वाजिनीवती या ते मन्मकृत्समदारुतावरिप्रिया देवेषु जुह्वति पावकानः सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती यज्ञं वष्टु धिया वसुः चोदयित्री सूनृतानां चेतन्ती सुमतीनां यज्ञं दधे सरस्वती महो अर्णः सरस्वती प्रचेतयति केतुना धियो विश्वा विराजते सरस्वतीं देवयन्तो हवन्ते सरस्वतीमध्वरे तायमाने सरस्वतीं सुकृतो आह्वयन्त सरस्वती दाशुषे वार्युदात् सरस्वत्या सरथं ययाथ स्वधाभिर्देवी पितृभिर्मदन्ति आसद्यास्मिन् बर्हिषि मादयस्वानमीवायुषाधे ह्यस्मै यस्मे सरस्वतीं यां विदरो हवन्ते दक्षिणा यज्ञमभिनक्षमाणाः सहस्रागमिळो अत्र भागं रायस्पोषं यजमानेषु देहि आनो दिवो बृहतः पर्वतादा सरस्वती यजता गन्तु यज्ञं हवं देवी जुजुषाणा घृता चेषग्मां नो वाचमुशनी शृणोतु राकामहं सुहवां सुष्टुते हुवे शृणोतु न सुभगावो दतुस्मना सीव्यत्वपः सूच्याच्छिद्यमानया ददातु वीरं शतदाय मुक्तं यास्ते राके सुमतयः सुपेशसो याभिर्ददासि दाशुषेवसोनि ताभिर्नो अद्य सुमना उपागहि सहस्रपोषं सुभगेरराण सिनीवाली पृथुष्टुकेया देवानामसि स्वसा जुषस्व हव्यमाहुतं प्रजां देवि दिदिढ्ढिनः यासु बाहुस्वङ्गुरि सुषुमा बहु सुषुमा बहुसूवरी तस्यै विश्वत्न्यै हविः सिनीवाल्यै जुहोतन या घुङ्गुर्यासिनी वाली या राकाया सरस्वती इंद्राणी मह्न ऊतये वरुणानीं स्वस्तये ओम शांति शांति शांति. Friends, as we are seeing yesterday also, this is how relentlessly, continuously, with simplicity, humbleness, and faith, when we go on exposing to the listening to the Tattva Shastras, at whatever the level of ignorance, immaturity we may be in the beginning, but that continuity, prolonged continuity, consistent continuity, Shraddha, if the continuity slowly starts opening up our intellects to understand what is said by the Shruti Mata about the Parabrahma Tattva and about the Jagat, about Jiva, about Ishvara, and what are their mutual relation, and which among these four is the substratum reality, how, and what are the superimposed, and how and why. Then only we will come to know what exactly meant by the bondage. As told by Shastra, same is as experienced by us. Only then we will know what exactly the real moksha or freedom. Then for that real freedom or moksha, we have to work. That work is called Adhyatmika Sadhana. So each of these things will start becoming clear to us when we hold on to our Gurus, Acharyas, and our Tattva Shravanam. It is the long process but most authentic, assured path. Because this is how, right from beginning of creation, the Rishis Munis through that Guru Parampara have, through the Shastra Sravanam, gained that Tattva Jnanam and worked for it and got the moksha or anubhuti. We are also luckily into this. And then the cares to be taken are, remember, the world and mind. Both are our own Shatrus. When and why and where they are Shatrus, whenever, wherever, for whatever reason, they try to take us away from this spiritual path. Therefore, let the world be there, let us be in the world. Let the mind be there, let us interact with the world with the mind. But see to it that it doesn't take away our pursuit of Paramatma through Shastra Adhyanam Ityadi. Let any amount of any type of influence, pressures happen. Be watchful about it. And only one standard rule is these thoughts of my mind, are these thoughts of mind, and is my activities in the world, is my involvement in the world, is it taking me, my interest, away from Paramatma? Just be aware, like the tortoise. Immediately devalue that and value the Shastra. Devalue that, the value the Shastra saying Jnanam. That Jnanam is not yet completely thoroughly understood by us. If it is understood and convinced, nobody dare, even in the God also, can take us away from the truth. Because once the truth is understood as the truth, in the light of which everything other than it will be understood as untruth or unreal, then no wise person leaves the truth and goes for untruth. Who realize the self are those who are consistent on the seat of meditation. Who were consistent were who gave up the worldly pursuit. Who gave worldly pursuit were those who understood the world to be unreal or mithya. And who have understood the world to be unreal and mithya, who have thoroughly understood that the Parama Atma alone, truth alone is Paramatma. What we are doing is this. Through the study of Shastras, Paramatma Swarupam is Satyatva. We are trying to listen, trying to understand, trying to grasp, trying to get convinced about. With hundreds of mantras, hundreds of examples, hundreds of logics. Whether you take it the mud and pot example, Water and wave example, gold and ornament example, the thread and cloth example, the everything what we see, all of these examples are given million times only to make us grasp that even though objectively non-understandable or seeable, yet there is a truth, there is a self, which is the substratum for all these superimposed. That unseen substratum is real reality. The superimposed, whichever are appearing to be so real, are absolutely unreal, non-existing. As long as they are existing, it's only appearance, and for that also they are not independent. They depend only on the substratum. These knowledges have to become very, very. As we gave in our Telugu class, I think yesterday or some class example, that how much real the clothes are because we use them, we wear them, we use them as towel or the bed sheets or the curtains or the wearable clothes or how many thousand ways we use the cloth. Even though thousand ways in Vyavahara the cloth is used, yet the cloth is not a reality. The reality is the thread in which the cloth is otaprota. The cloth is woven in the thread. So thread is the reality. A particular arrangement of the thread gave the illusion of the cloth. And this illusory cloth is more useful in Vyavahara than the reality thread. Thread nobody wears. Thread nobody uses as towel. Thread nobody uses as bedsheet or curtain. But thread alone is used because what is appearing as the cloth is thread only. Remove the thread, where is the cloth? In the same way, the truth alone, otaprota, by this whole world. Truth is reality. Truth woven through the names and forms is the world. This knowledge has to go very deeply. That happens through Shravanam and contemplation. Then the goal should be realizing that reality beyond all. Then, from that standpoint, living the life of freedom and liberation, in which, at our own free will and choice, we are into our own pure infinite self. Our own choice with we are again into the Mithya Jagat without missing the self, without giving reality to the self. That becomes play, that becomes Leela. That is Jivan Mukti expressing. So, to get the clarity of these knowledges, to get the inspiration, to become Antarmukha, and to get into the deep dhyana, to experience Paramatma, that we are continuously, relentlessly going on listening to the Upanishad. Now, for some people, एक महीने में, किसी को 2 महीने में, किसी को 1 साल में, किसी को 3 साल में, हम जैसे लोगों को 10 साल लगता होगा. How does it matter? Why should we compare with others or calculate? How much ever time it may take for the clarity, till the clarity comes, we give time, we give attention to our Shastra Shravanam, Shastra Adhenam, Shastra Chintanam. When the understanding comes, it's a flash of moment. It just becomes clear, intellectual. So too the meditation may, the experience that I am drashta also happens in a fraction of moment. But for the fraction of moment to happen, like in that -3, -2, -1, 0, that 0 said immediately that satellite launching rocket takes off into the sky. It's only that moment. But then the whole 1 year or few years, how many departments of people have worked to set that rocket to take off? In the same way, intellectual understanding and experience. They are a flash, in moment it just happens. For that to happen, all these preparations, all these efforts, without comparing with others, we keep on doing the effort of our Nirantara Shastra, Shravana. Shravana tak we have come. Now the Manana has to happen. That Manana to begin with, at least for 5 minutes, morning, afternoon, evening. Slowly it should increase, and throughout the day, the manana should be there. The manana chintana of the Vedanta, the Viveka Khyati of the Yoga, the Smarana Samarpana of the Bhakti have to be done all the time. That alone stops the vasanas to form, that alone stops the ignorance to become more and more thicker, that alone dilutes and eliminates the vasanas, that alone gives the clear picture of sadhya, the goal, that alone slowly takes us towards the Lord. निरंतर तुम्हें धीरे धीरे आना चाहिए. Thereafter, wherever we are, whatever we are, physically outside, as situation puts us, outside thing is going on outside, but inside we are. Like a songwriter, when he takes a theme, how much busy he is till that song is written, in search of the vocabulary, in search of the similes, in search of the music or whatever metaphors, he goes on. तो ये संदर्भ के लिए, ये थीम का गाना लिखने के लिए क्या क्या शब्द, दैट फ्यू मंथ्स ही इज ओनली फॉर इट. कभी कभी एक गाना लिखने को 4 4 महीने होता था. सो टू ए पर्सन हु वांट्स टू bring out a movie. So the main theme surrounded the story and sub stories, then the characters, then the dialogues, then the sceneries, the place, the background. So he's totally engrossed into it. These directors, these producers never come onto the stage like these heroes, etc. But in fact, these producers, directors are the real heroes. Just like the singers come onto limelight. But the real lyricists, as well as the musicians, music composers, as well as the instrumentalists, they are the real prana for a singer to sing a song. But because of their punya, the singers, the actors become famous. But these producers, directors, composers, they are the real gems, heroes. How their mind is fully occupied by that. In the same way, a stage should come in our life, if possible in this very life, that throughout the day, what is truth? Where is the truth? How is the truth? How this untruth is taken as the truth? How the untruth has to be realized as an untruth? How it has to be rejected? If it is rejected, how the heart looks like? Then how on the truth the meditation should be done. In meditation, when we from the Bahirmukha start becoming Antarmukha, become closer to the true self or the reality, how it looks like. Let me do it practically as many times as possible per day. You understand? This is the stage whoever have reached there, they really have become qualified for the blessings of the divine, for the divine revelation. Now, all this cannot be done when our whole day is dedicated to this artha or even kama or even dharma. Therefore, all the dharma, artha, kama छोड़कर केवल मोक्ष के लिए they go to the guru, they study, from that they go to an ashram, living in minimum requirements throughout the day. They spend only on this. Only then knowledge becomes firm, antarmukta becomes deeper, avagahana understanding becomes sukshma, and in that high level of deepest understanding only, the truth is subjectively experienced. So we all have to go through those stages. We have begun with the study of the highest of the literature, Upanishads. We will never leave this study till the self is experienced. And then नो गुरु होएंगे, भगवान होएंगे, हम उनका उपासना करेंगे, वो लोग हमको ब्लेस करेंगे तो अपने आप हो जाएगा. ये सब झूठ है. सत्य क्या है? When do we do the upasanas, when we become humble, when we really pray to them, they bless us with the moksha, with this process only of giving us the chance to listen to Shastras, giving us the chance to study the Shastras, giving us the chance and empowerment to contemplate on what we studied. So we are already blessed. There is no other way that automatically जस्ट लाइक दैट इट हैपेंस. ऐसा नहीं होता. जैसा होना है वो यही तरीका है. And one or two very rare examples where you see that guru has not given upadesha, he has not studied shastras, he never did deep manana chintana, and yet realized. ऐसे लाखों करोड़ों में एकाध होते हैं. That's because all these processes they have done in their earlier life. Only the final finishing touches are there. So for that, in this life, those touches were done, they realized. इवन इफ दे डिसबिलीव और से दैट हमने कोई शास्त्र नहीं पढ़ा, कोई गुरु का अप्रोच नहीं किया, खुद ही रियलाइजेशन हुआ, दिस इज नॉट करेक्ट. इट नेवर हैपेंस लाइक दैट. ही माइट हैव फॉरगॉटन और ही डजंट वांट टू एक्नॉलेज. That's all okay. So, what process in which Guru God's grace is there? What process in which the realization is achieved? What process by which you and I have to grow in our sadhana is this only. Shravana, then the manana, then the chintana, then the nitidhyasana. These will take us to the dhyana. In the dhyana, the dheya vastu is experienced as ourselves. Though abruptly, to conclude the whole sentence, we say all these things, but each of these are stages. To cross each one, sometime it may take lives. So in this life, we are at the stage of only Shravanam. तो मनन का इस जन्म में किस्मत है कि नहीं पता. कोशिश करें तो थोड़ा मिल सकता होगा. मे बी अवर नेक्स्ट लाइफ एंटायरली इज ओनली इन मननम. वन मोर लाइफ मे बी चिंतनम. देन द नेक्स्ट लाइफ मे बी फॉर ध्यानम. All of that can be in this life. But these are all stages. They are not as abrupt as we say while concluding the sentence. We have to go through. See, the Shravanam itself is in how much erratic hours. From that erraticness of irregularity to the class, to the straightness of the regularity to the class, up to that we have achieved. But in the class also, the speaking, the listening, being conscious about the theme, we are still erratic at this level because of our Kshipta Moda Vikshipta Bhumika of our Chitta. So, avoiding all of that, bringing Ekagrata, when we become steadfast in the listening, then the data is collected. Then, on the data, without forgetting it, we have to do Mananam at home. That Mananam also, like the Shravanam, will be erratic for few years. Then it has to come onto the track. When the Mananam becomes on the track, then only the understanding about the truth as truth, understanding about everything other than the truth as imagination, that becomes clear. And that also unsteady. And that also is forgotten that this knowledge is gained to actualize it on the seat of meditation. तो मैं इसको समझा हूँ, मेरे अनुभव के लिए उसके लिए मुझे ध्यान करना है, ये बात पकड़ने में भी फिर कुछ साल लगते हैं. Then actually when he is trying to do the Vyatireka of the Anatma and doing the Anvaya of the Atmavastu, again there, when the Lord really wants to make it happen to us, he has his own calculation of clearing our own Veshti Prarabdha, or the totality Prarabdha, Meshwar Prarabdha, and he also maybe looking at as an instrument wants to use us for his work for some time. Till that time, he may do the postponement of our realization. So there are 100 factors. Okay. In some cases, Lord Himself will prompt, Guru Himself is prompt us and do those arrangements so quickly that all our qualifications are gained by us, and in a sense of urgency, they themselves may give us their moksha anubhuti. ये हमको नहीं पता. The total forces, total divinity is functioning. It's conscious and observant of every of the jiva. So many probabilities are there like that. Among all of them, the clarity should be what on regular basis we must do to be blessed by the divinity. And that is Nirandra Shravana, Manana, Chintana of the Parabrahma Tattva through the mainly the Upanishad. Upanishad is directly about the truth. Doesn't mix up the words, doesn't mingle here and there. As much as the other literature, though they also are for moksha, but they go through so many things. The detail, the stories, the historical aspects, the emotions, है ना, इतने सारे पुराण इतिहासों में होते हैं। ये पुराण इतिहास के द्वारा परमात्मा को पाना, दैट इज द डिस्टर्ब्ड एजिटेटेड क्षिप्त मूढ़ विक्षिप्त पीपल। फॉर दोज हु आर एकाग्र भूमि वाले, उनके लिए वेदांत श्रवणम स्ट्रेट अवे, no mincing the waters or the words. It is the truth, it is contemplated upon, it is understood, it is meditated upon, it is realized as ourselves, and in that realization established. So maybe because of Mother's grace and grace of God and Shruti Mata, all the gurus become day by day clear in all these aspects and fulfill our life by walking on that spiritual path towards the goal at least few steps. And we are lucky enough, if we are blessed enough, if we are pure enough, if we are subtler enough, if we are really deep serious enough, who knows, in this very life Paramatma may make us touch that experience of the inexplicable Parabrahma Tattva, which is only Anubhava Gamya, which cannot be picturized, which cannot be explained in words, which cannot be conceptualized, which cannot be an emotion of the mind. The truth we may experience it. So let us continue the whole day today too, though today is Maharnavami and afternoon only Dashami is coming. So many people are celebrating Vijaya Dashami, Dashahara today only. So that is going on, going on. Highest Vijayadashami Dashara is only knowing the truth. So we are trying for that. Therefore, for us, Dashara, Navaratra, Deepavali is every day going on. Through all these festivals, we are reminded only of the divinity. Already we are remembering divine only through all our satsanga. So for us, every day is a Tyohar. Occasions, muhurats are there of the festival, the different fervor, without compromising with what we do. In fact, for us, you and me, intensely doing our regularly done Shravana and Sadhana is real celebration of Deepavali Dashahara. The other outer celebrations are for those who are already extroverted with so much of क्षिप्त मूढ़ विक्षिप्तता. हमको ये सब क्या है, हमको तो अंदर का तत्व को जानना है. These festivals will come and go. We have to celebrate them with all fervor. But no, the purpose of all of that is to make us realize the truth. And that's possible only through Shastram. We are already in that. So let's go through our Aitareya Upanishad, our Yoga Darshanam, our Mundaka Upanishad, our Gita, our Bhagavad Mahabharana, Adhyatma Ramayanam, invoking the grace of Lord Rama, Lord Goddess Kamala Mata, so to the mothers, through our Stotra Parayanam in the evening. Let us begin. Om, Om, Om. Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryangkaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Om Sarusibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. Om Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Bhisaje Bhavaroginam Gurave Sarva Lokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Om Vidita Shastra Sudha Jaladhe Mahithopanishad Kathitarthanidhe Hridaye Kalaye Vimalam Charanam Bhavashankaradeshikame Sharanam. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadusham Tattvamasyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Triguna Sadgurum Tannamami. Om Parabrahmane Shrimatre Samastam Brahma Vidya Acharyebhyo Rishibhyo Munibhyo Gurubhyo Devatabhyo Namaha. Shri Aitareya Upanishadaha Acharyebhyo Gurubhyo Namaha. Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Adi Shankaracharya Bhashyakarebhyo Vyakhya Tikakarebhyo Namaha. Tesham Sarvesham Kripanugrahena Upanishadukta Brahmatmaikya Bodha Dvara अस्मिन् क्षणे एव मोक्षप्राप्त्यर्थं सनातनधर्मस्य वैदिक हैन्दव वेदान्तद्वय संस्कृतेः साधनानां शास्त्राणां योगानां गुरु शिष्य भक्त भगवत परंपरायाः उपासनानां प्रक्रियाणां च पुनरुत्थान पुनर्जागरण समस्त विश्वव्याप्ति द्वारा विश्व आध्यात्मिक प्रगति द्वारा विश्व शांति विश्व कल्याण विश्व एकता विश्व सौमनस्य सौभ्रातृत्व पुरोभिवृद्ध्यर्थम् अस्मिन् धर्म संस्थापन कार्ये निश्चित अस्माकं सह समस्त साधक भक्त सेवक धर्म संस्थापकानां पूर्णायुरारोग्य ऐश्वर्य क्षेम स्थैर्य धैर्यादि सत्संपदा साधना सानुकूल्यता शक्तीनां प्राप्ति बाह्य अभ्यंतर शत्रु विघ्न निर्मूलन द्वारा धर्म संस्थापन कार्य दिग्विजय अर्थम श्री ऋग्वेदांतर्गत ऐतरेय उपनिषद पारायणम् आद्य शंकर भाष्य समेत अध्ययनम् वयं सर्वे करिष्यामहे आदौ पारायणम् ॐ मनस्तापतमशान्त्यै यस्य पादनकच्छटा शरदिन्दुरिवा भाति तं वन्दे नीलचिन्मणिम् ओत श्रीऋग्वेदान्तर्गत ऐतरेयोपनिषद प्रथमोऽध्यायः शान्तिमन्त्रः ॐ वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्म एधि वेदस्य माणीस्तः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासेः अनेनाधीतेनाहोरात्रान् सन्तदामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवत्ववतु मामवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ तत्तृतीयमुण्डकम् ॐ स ईक्षते वेणुलोकाश्च लोकपालाश्च अन्नमेभ्यः सुजा इति सोपोऽभ्यतवत्ताभ्यो विदप्ताभ्यो मूर्तिरजायत या वै सा मूर्तिरजायत अन्नं वै तत् तदेनत् सृष्टं पराङ्त्यजिगांसत् तद्वाचा जिगृक्षत्तन्नाशक्नोद्वाचा ग्रहीतुं स यद्धयेनद्वाचा ग्रहीषदभिव्याहृत्यः एव अन्नमत्रप्स्यत् तत्प्राणेनाजिगृक्षत्तन्नाशक्नोत् प्राणेन ग्रहीतुं स यद्धैनत् प्राणेनाग्रहैषत् अभिप्राण्यहैवान्नमत्रप्स्यत् तच्चक्षुषा जिगृक्षत्तन्नाशक्नोत् चक्षुषा ग्रहीतुं स यद्धयेनत् चक्षुषा ग्रहैष्यत् दृष्ट्वा हैवान्नमत्रप्स्यत् तच्छ्रोत्रेणाजिगृक्षत्तन्नाशक्नोत् श्रोत्रेण ग्रहीतुं स यद्धयेनत् श्रोत्रेणाग्रहैष्यत् तच्छ्रुत्वा हैवान्नमत्रप्स्यत् तत्त्वचा अजिगृक्षत्तन्नाशक्नोत् त्वचा ग्रहीतुं स यथा येन त्वचा ग्रहीष्यत् स्पृष्टाः एव अन्नमत्रप्स्यत् स्पृष्ट्वा तन्मनसा जिगृक्षत्तन्नाशक्नोन् मनसा ग्रहीतुं स यथा येनन्मनसा ग्रहीष्यत् ध्यात्वाः एव अन्नमत्रप्स्यत् तच्चिष्णेनाजिगृक्षत्तन्नाशक्नोत् चिष्णेन ग्रहीतुं स येन चिष्णेनाग्रहीष्यत् विसृजः एव अन्नमत्रप्स्यत् तदपानेनाजिगृक्षत् तदावत् यति सा एषः अन्नस्य ग्रहः यद्वायुः अन्नायुः वा एषः यद्वायुः स ईक्षितकतन्विदं मद्रुते स्यादिति स ईक्षितकतरेण प्रपद्या इति स ईक्षत यदि वाचाभिव्याहृतं यदि प्राणेनाभिप्राणितं यदि चक्षुषा दृष्टं यदि श्रोत्रेण श्रुतं यदि त्वचा स्पृष्टं यदि मनसा ध्यातं यदि अपानेनाभ्यपानितं यदि शिष्णेन विसृष्टमतकोऽहमिदे स एतमेव सीमानं विदार्य एतया द्वारा प्रापद्यता सा एषा विद्रुतिर्नामद्वाः तदेतन्नान्दनन्तस्य त्रय आवसताः त्रयः स्वप्नाः अयमावसतो यमावसतो यमावसत इति स जातो भूतान्यभिव्यैख्यत किमिह अन्यं वावदिशदिति स एतमेव पुरुषं ब्रह्म तत मम पश्यतु इदम् अदर्शमिति तस्मादिदन्द्रो नामेदन्द्रो ह वै नाम तमिदन्द्रं सन्तम् इन्द्र इत्याचक्षते परोक्षेण परोक्षप्रिया इव हि देवाः परोक्षप्रिया इव हि देवाः ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. See friends, when we are chanting every day, the mantras we are becoming familiar with. The greatest contribution, blessing we are giving to ourselves is the Nirantara Parayana of all our Shastras. In any other language of English, Hindi, mother tongue, we may talk all the Shastra, but the Shastra original is in Sanskrit only. Without the familiarity of that Sanskrita in our mother tongue or other bhasha, we cannot do the contemplation and vicharana on that. Therefore, the great thing we are doing every day is doing पारायणम, and how much 4-5 दिन का effort, मिनट का effort ले रहा है. Those 4-5 minutes of effort to do the पारायणम is so precious. I to enjoy it, and it helps me tremendously. And I know you all look like a cinema and tamasha when I do the chanting, except one or two. Everybody should have the book in front and should chant. Vocally, if the speed you are not able to catch up, chant with your eyes and mind by going through it. But then keep on chanting. Okay. Now we are into this Rigveda Antargata Aitareya Upanishad. This Upanishad has 3 adhyayas. First adhyaya has got 3 khandams. In that 3 khandams, 2 khandams we have exhaustively seen. Third khandam also we are now exhaustively studying. In these first 2 khandams and the topics so far discussed, the summary is the whole world, so much real, substantial now appearing, including our own upadhis and jiva bhava. Before all it got manifested, all it is was Brahman only. Not that it was in the Brahman. No, in the Brahman is Brahman alag, E alag. No, it was Brahman. Like before the chair was made, chair was inside the plastic. No, that is wrong language. The chair was plastic only. Before the pot is made, pot was in the mud. Pot was mud. The Saptama Vibhakti in that you should not use. Then grammatically correct but spiritually wrong. Pot was not in the mud. Pot was mud only. Because when you use the Saptami Vibhakti in, then the container content relation comes. Once the relation comes, the relative wala samsara begins. So that is why in the very first stroke only, the highest, sublime, most truth which needs to be grasped and understood is given by this Shruti Mata, this Aitareya. Very first stroke. Atma va idam ekam eva agre asit. Idam agre atma ekam eva asit. Ekam atma eva asit. Not it was in the self. No, it was the self. The whole idam. Then he has done the Ikshana, he created the Loka Balakas. Then for the protection of them, he created the Lokas. For the protection and maintenance of the Loka, he wanted to create Lokapalas. For that, he first created Virat Purusha through his Sankalpa. From that, already created the Lokas of Panch Mahabhutas. And from that, Virat Purusha, the Golakas, the Indriyas, the Adhisthana Devatas who are called as Lokapalakas, they are manifested. Then Bhagwan, they fell into samsara, Bhagwan put them in hunger and thirst. They asked, give us the place to stay. Staying where? Annam Adama. Bhagwan brought the cow, Bhagwan brought the horse, and so many others. They didn't get satisfied with them. When Purusha was brought, they were so happy. Sukrutam Bhata. देन सेठ भगवान ने कहा चल ठीक है फिर जहाँ जहाँ से तुम निकले हो विराट पुरुष से replica of that Virat Purusha is human Sharira. Therefore, go to your own respective places from where you came. There staying, your consumption of food will become easy. Immediately, each of the devatas became that particular Indriya and they entered and occupied that particular place in the human Sharira. Agninvak Bhutva Mukham Pavishatu. है ना चक्षुः आदित्य भूत्वा आदित्य चक्षुर्भूत्वा चक्षुंषि प्राविशतु अक्षिणी प्राविशतु all that. Then Visa Asana Pipasa asked, भैया हमको भी जगह दो. Then Bhagavan said, you being Bhagavanatmaka, you cannot exist independent or without the conscious being. These devatas are conscious beings, therefore I will put you with them. And whatever havis all the devatas get as offered by the human beings through yajna ityadi, inherently without any question doubt, you both, Ashana Pipasa, become the partakers, shareholders of what is the Havi or Ahutis, whatever these devatas get. So you are with every devata, and every devata when he is getting his share of whatever the Swahakara offered things, you are already a partner in that, you get your share. So that is why we explained how at every Indriya level there is always hunger and thirst. And along with the Pushti to the Indriyas and Sharira, always there is Tushti also to our Pranamaya Koshas, hunger and thirst थ्रू एवरीथिंग. सो आंखों से जगत को देखने से पोषण पुष्टि भी मिलता है और तोषण तुष्टि भी मिलता है. द तोषण तुष्टि इज टू द प्राणमय कोश व्हिच इज देयर. Then the Toshita Pranamaya Kosha again in turn empowers these Indriyas to function in their respective fields. No, ये तो हो गया. Then the question is what? भगवान himself thought कि ये लोगों को मैंने हंगर थर्स्ट लगाया, अब उनको खाना भी खिलाना है ना. So therefore from the same Panchatanmatras predominantly having the Jala through his contemplation Murti Rajayata. Sthulam Murti hai Ajayata. Okay. That Ghana Rupa Murti came. Sthula Ghana is what? Dharana Yogya. Dharana Samartha. Which is capable of perceiving by all faculties, etc. Chara Achara Lakshanam. That Murti is inherently has got Chara and Achara Lakshanam. No. The most important thing is Annam Vai Tat Murti Rupam Ya Vai Sa Murti Rajaya. That Murti which has come out is the wholesale Anna for the entire universal beings of whatever the Anna they each one deserve. Every thousands of examples. As we said, the thread is common first. Now here the thread example is not for a Brahman, we are talking it for the Annam. Thread is common, then which types of the clothes you make and where, that's secondary. So to in what form the Annam gets transformed suitable to each of the Deha of the each of the Jiva will be later on development. But basically all that is Annam. Iron is there. Basically iron it. Now what you make out of that iron, useful different parts in the different machinery, वो तो different. But basically सब iron ही है. You know, you may make screws or nuts or the bolts or bearings or kya spikes. All are, you know, if you take vehicles like car, the whole body of the car, the bonnet of the car, सारा उसी आयरन से. द रूप नाम अलग है, उसका यूटिलिटी अलग है बात में, but basically all are iron. In the same way, basically it is Anna. Like, you know, another example, Visaya Mundaka Upanishad, what Prithvi Mata gives is basically Annam for the survival of the Jivas. Basic thing is that. But secondary development क्या है कि which Jivas are capable of consuming which food for their own survival. All that differentiation is the food will be a second aspect. Bhumata being so kind, when we sow the seeds, that type of food only she gives, suitable to each one. That's why in this world, on this earth, as much the food required by the human being or animals or hippopotamus is created, so much the food required for the titili, for the honeybee, for a small ant, even for a microbe also is created. इमेजिन 84 लाख योनियों का अलग अलग खाना होता है, तो सारा भूमाता दे रही है. But some common denominator is it is called annam. Variety it is. Hmm. Like in hotel they give annam, but then the जिह्वा के अनुसार एक एक बंदा अलग अलग सब्जी और नाश्ता है वो मंगा कर खाता है. What variety is secondary, but basically it is annam. Like we talk. What we talk is various different things. But basic thing is we are talking. We are in the class, therefore we are talking Upanishad. If it is the evening class, we will talk Bhagavatam. If that class is over, we talk informal things, general things. But base is talk. Subjects are different. So too, the base is Annam. Then it is totally differentiated and developed for the sake of different jivas. Just like basically it is a hospital. Then slowly, for the sake of the patients, departments are developed. But सबका उद्देश्य निरोगी बनाना रोगी को. Then the inpatient, the outpatient, and in the outpatient or inpatient, there's the 10 varieties depending on departments. जितना ये डॉक्टर जरूरत मानते हैं और कैपेसिटी है उनका उतना डेवलप. कोई तो ऑल द लेबोरेटरीज भी वही भी है, केमिकल और लैब्स उसी में है, टेस्ट उसी में है. Even the chemists also, druggists also are there. एक ही हॉस्पिटल में सब कुछ. ऑल द ऑपरेशनल इक्विपमेंट्स भी है, पोस्ट ऑपरेटिव केयर्स भी है. द सुपर स्पेशलिटी हॉस्पिटल्स बोलते हैं. देर ऑल सेकेंडरी. Primarily is to remove the disease and give health. So to basically it is annam. Then it is second level में chara and achara rupam. Then subsequently for the requirement of variety of jivas, that only gets modified by Lord's संकल्प. वो सब हम अकलमंद है समझ लेंगे करके. Neither Shruti Mata nor Bhagavan Shankara told, but we should be wise to grasp that basically it is Annam and that is Murti, and that Annam Murti is Dharana Samartham, and to begin with it is Charachara Lakshanam. So Annam vai tat Murti Rupam या वैसा मूर्ति रजायत. यहाँ तक हमने देखा. Now from this third mantra onwards, just focus on the Bhashyam. Today we'll do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All these mantras we do in spending half an hour today. First, I am studying and explaining from the Bhashya for the third mantra, in which what I said was the Annam is created. And that Annam having created in the second mantra, in the third mantra mein, that Anna started running away and the Vani started consuming the food and it failed to do so. What is the meaning of that Anna starting running away? We explained yesterday very beautifully, if you remember. Anna started running away means Annam that is very fresh. That time only we have to consume it. The more we do delay in it, the annatva in it of giving us the poshakas or the taste, etc., start receding. Secondly, getting annam is an opportunity. It should be immediately encashed by consuming it. To indicate to this, the word said here is the anna started running away. And naturally, they go, anna consumption is anna destruction. And nothing in the world wants its destruction. Like, no rat tells to the cat, कि तुम मुझे खा लो. On the other hand, for the cat, the rat alone is the food. And the rat, when it goes to catch the cat, when it goes to catch the rat to eat it, the rat runs only. The deers run when the lions, tigers, the things they chase. है ना, वो कहते हैं ना कि चलो खा लो हमको करके. So that system which you see later on, that the consumable food, especially the chara, run away from the food eaters, that which we see later on, that is indicated here in the first sentence only, that the food started running away. उसका हमने ये अर्थ देखा कि food doesn't remain long, you have to consume it. You know, it's a continuous process. Food is getting created. In its creation, when it comes to the peak level of its best way of creation, it has to be consumed. If it does not consumed, it slowly starts decaying and destroyed. Therefore, as it becomes paripakva, you consume it, then it goes through its a process of destruction. In that only, it sustains our human sharira and gives energy to all the indriyas, etc. देखो, जो फूड भाग रहा है उसको भागने नहीं देते हुए पकड़ के खाना है, डजंट मीन दैट खाने के बाद वो फूड रुकेगा. खाने के बाद भी वो भाग रहा है. It doesn't stay. It goes from the mouth through the throat into the stomach. There also it gets, by that, or to say, the digestive system. It is moved, it is digested, it is thrown out. So that subtle thing of the food doesn't stay, goes on moving. Right time, right food you consume and help yourself. That subtle thing is conveyed in the sentence that the food started running away. Clear? So tad enat annam. Tad enat annam, that this food, lokapalanam arthe. For the loka, now it is the body. The lokapalas, the indriyas. उनके लिए जो अर्थ है, for their sake, bhimke srushtam, created and kept in front. वो अन्न. What हुआ उसको? तद्यथा, that's where the example what we saw is तद्यथा मूषकादिहि, rat etc. marjaradi gochare san, when they are in the vicinity of the eater of that mushaka, the rat called as a cat. Marjara is cat, mushaka is rat. So the mushaka adi, the rats etc. Marjaradi gochare san, when they are in the vicinity, or gochara, in the drishti of the cats etc., the consumers of that. मूषक आदि मीन्स एनी ऑफ दैट. मूषक कहो, छोटे कीड़े मकोड़े कहो, मेंढक कहो, तो उसको खाने वाले. तो मूषक को खाने वाला, चूहा को खाने वाला बिल्ली है, तो मेंढक को खाने वाला सांप है. सो मार्जारा आदि मीन्स द कैट, स्नेक एटसेट्रा. When they see this rat and mendak, frogs etc., which are their consumable foods, what they do? मार्जारादि गोचरे सन, अब उनकी नजर में आते ही मम मृत्यु हन्नादः, this fellow, the eater of me, is my death. Catch this point, है ना? What is the thinking of a rat when it sees that the cat has seen it? That this cat, for it I am the food, no doubt, but that cat eating me is a mrityu to me. What the mendak does, like you can observe evenings when they put on light, so many कीड़े are there near the tube lights, then the chipkaliyan घूमते रहते, and you can see that chipkali running here and there to consume those insects from this wall to that wall, they go on flying. What is happening? That chipkali is a eater and I am its food, but when it eats me, I die, and nobody wants to die. No, कि मार्जारादि गोचरे सन मम मृत्यु अन्नादः. The eater of this fellow, me, this fellow, the cat or the serpent or the chipkali, they are all mrityu iti matva. Knowing this instinct given inside, parag anchati iti. Pratyek means nazdik, parag means dur, anchati means jumps and runs away. तो परांग अंचति इति, परांग सत शत्रून् अतीत्य अजिगांसत अतिगन्तुम् ऐच्छतु पलायितुं प्रारभत इत्यर्थः. So it started running away from that consumer, knowing or thinking that when he consumes, it is good for him, but it is a death to me. He doesn't want the death, therefore it moves ahead. मतलब very symbolically to say, though it is annam ki drushti se kaha in our life also, try to avoid the death, try to be avoid to be consumed by the death. Discover the immortal in you. Be immortal. Try to be immortal. That thought you can catch from it. But otherwise, basically, वो खाएगा तो मैं मरूंगा, इसलिए मुझे बचना है. Survival instinct. So tad enat annam लोकपालानाम अर्थे अभिमुखे सृष्टम तद यथा मूषकादि मार्जारादि गोचरे सन्न मम मृत्युः अन्नादः इति मत्वा पराग अंचति इति पराग सत अत्रून् अतीत्य अजिगांसतु अतिगन्तुम् ऐच्छतु पलायितुं प्रारभत इत्यर्थः. Just like seeing the cat, the rats runs away. In the same way, the Anna, when it saw its Mrityu, the consuming the Adhisthana Devatas, it started running. Then वो भाग रहा है करके ये देवता लोग छोड़ नहीं देते, उनको पकड़कर खाना ही पड़ेगा, है ना. ये खाएंगे करके द अन्ना रुकता नहीं, वो तो कोशिश करेगा भागने का. That is how the whole Srishti's principle we have to accept. Consumer never leaves the consumable goods. Consumable good can never be free from the consumer. He'll have to consume it only. That is why life is maintained in the world, system is maintained in the world. ये प्रिंसिपल समझ रहे हैं, उसमें कुछ विशेष क्या साधना करने का कुछ नहीं. Food is created, the food runs away. Before it runs away, gets expired, you just consume it. Consumption also is expiry only, that's why it runs. Okay, now now comes the main important discussion. डिस्कशन नहीं है, सीधा बता देना, बस ध्यान से सुन लो. कहते हैं तत् अन्न अभिप्रायम मत्वा, having understood the abhipraya of the anna that it doesn't want to be consumed, it wants to run away, saha lokapala sanghatah, that assemblage of the loka, the body, and the lokapala sanghatah, the indriyas. Remember, food is required for the loka, the sharira, the lokapala, the indriyas also. इंद्रिया अधिष्ठान देवता दोनों के लिए खाना चाहिए, इंद्रियों के लिए भी और शरीर के लिए. जो भी हम खाना खाते हैं, दैट वर्क्स फॉर द शरीर, फॉर द इंद्रियास, फॉर अंतःकरण, फॉर एवरीथिंग. दैट इज कहा कि सह लोकपाल संगातः, द assemblage of the loka, the body, the lokapala, the sense organs. So अन्ना अभिप्राय मत्वा, आई अंडरस्टूड दैट द अन्न का अभिप्राय को भागना चाहता है. क्या क्या उन्होंने दिस, व्हाट इज दिस लोकपाल संघातः कार्य करण लक्षणः. Always remember Vedanta, wherever the karya and karana words come, always understand karya means the final karya of the Panchamahabhutas and final karya of the Panchamahabhutas. Final karya in the form of Panchamahabhuta and the final karya of the Panchamahabhutas. What is that? The Panchamahabhutas get grassified through Panchikarana. After that, that Panchikurata Panchamahabhutas come together. Together to form what? Stula Shariras. That Stula Sharira is final karya. There is nothing beyond that has final effect or karya. For wherever the karya word comes, it is Stula Sharira. Okay. Now simple the other thing. What is the meaning of Karana? Karana means all these 19 faculties. 5 Jnanendriya, 5 Karmendriya, 5 pranas and 4 Antakarana. 19 कहो या 70 कहो, सूक्ष्म शरीर, ये सब कारण है. That like in Adhyatma Ramayana, we studied, the Stula Sharira is the Ayataram. Then the 17 componented Sukshma Sharira is the Karanam or Sadhanam. So the Karya Karana Sanghata is this gross body and subtle body together. Knowing that Abhipraya of the food, that it wants to run away, means what? The Karya Karana Sanghata should become conscious about the food, and before the food runs away or gets expired, he should consume it. Keep that thought in the mind. Tad anna abhiprayam matva. Knowing the abhipraya of that anna, sa loka lokapala sangataha, that assembly of the loka, the body, and lokapala, which are called as karyakarana lakshanaha, which is the whole pinda, the whole human body, human structure. Prathama jatvatu. Prathama jatvad, being the first created, anyanscha annadan abhashan. Okay, 1 minute. So tad anna abhipraya matva sa lokapala sangatha karyakarana sangatha pindaha. The pindaha is this our individual expression as a human. Prathama jatvat, because it is the one which is created first. Anyansha anna adan abhashya. Nobody else is there to consume this food. Having seen it so, tad annam, that food ko, now comes the most important topic, that food ko, vacha. Vasana means vadana vyaparena. With the vyapara of the vani talking, called as speaking, with that ajikrukshatu. Ajigrukshatu means grahitum aichatu. Means he was desirous of doing the grahana of the food by the vani, by the work of the vani, that is called as vadana vyaparena ajigrukshatu. Grahitum aichatu. तो वाणी का व्यापार जो है बोलना है, उस बोलने वाला वाणी का व्यापार प्रक्रिया से ये जो पिंड रूपी मैं, मेरा शरीर, मेरा संघात, उस भोजन को खाना चाहा, wanted to consume. So here anya adanan avashyan, seeing that there is no other consumer. So here only one spiritual thought what you have to learn is give food to everyone, then you eat. Don't keep others hungry and you be the eater first. No, it is wrong. In a maturity, सबको खिलाकर खुद बाद में खा. That all shows we are rising, growing in life. That's why the woman at home, सबको खिलाकर then जो बचा है वो she खाती है. So too in any good company, boss, सब employees को salary bonus देकर, then what remains he cherishes that. So too a farmer, giving all paddy rice to everyone, with the remaining he lives. A pot maker gives the pots to the entire village, then with the remaining pot, it is never in Hindu philosophy that I am the first consumer, then only to give to others. No. In Hindu philosophy, first give to all and then me. So here it's कोई है ही नहीं इसको कंज्यूम करने वाला, therefore मेरे लिए है करके दिस पिंड, दिस शरीर एंड द सूक्ष्म शरीर संघात ने क्या किया? बी अटेंटिव. विथ द वाणी, थ्रू इट्स वर्क ऑफ वदना, it wanted to consume the food. It tried to consume the food. Very typical way of saying. Very interesting. Total thought, when it is developed, you get an idea. In the total thought, the next thought is what? The next thought is that pinda, sharira, you can call it a jiva who is in the sharira. उसने जब उस भोजन को अग्नि से या वाणी से खाने का कोशिश किया, वाणी से, अग्नि से। सो प्रथमजत्वात् अन्यांश अन्नादान अपश्यन् तद अन्नम वाचा मीन्स वदन व्यापारेण अजिगृक्षत. With Vani, that means with the Vyapara of the Vani called as speech, called as talking, by speaking or talking, he wanted to do the grahana of that food. क्या हुआ? तद अन्नम न अशक्नोतु समर्थः अभवतु वाचा वदन क्रियया ग्रहीतुम उपादातु. So with this grahana kriya of the vadana kriya of the Vani, with the vadana kriya of the Vani, with the Vani whose kriya is to speak, with that, this Pinda, this Purusha, the Jiva, was not successful. He failed in doing the grahanam of the food. This is the main sentence. उसको logically explain कर रहे हैं. What is the logical explanation? कि सब प्रथमजः शरीरी, that pratamajah shariri, the jiva, yat means yadi, if at all, listen carefully, ha enat, ha means indeed, enat means us food ko, is khane ko, vacha agrahishyat, if he was capable of doing grahana of the food by the vani, what is vagvilasa or vani matra से, तो गृहीतवाद स्यात्, अगर गृहित किया होता इन द फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट ऑफ हिज क्रिएशन, क्या होता? अब देखो, अन्नम, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग सेंटेंस नाउ, अन्नम सर्वः अपि लोकः, सारा लोकम तत्कार्यभूतत्वात्, तत्कार्यभूतत्वात्, दट प्रथमज हिरण्यगर्भ के कार्य हम जीव सब होने के कारण, वो हिरण्यगर्भ ने जब उस अन्न को वाणी से बोल के खाने का कोशिश किया, वाणी से बोलकर खाना अगर वो हिरण्यगर्भ खा पाया होता, तो इन द बिगिनिंग, if that was possible, then we all, the effects of that Hiranyagarbha, we also would have. What? Just by uttering the word or the name of that food, the consumption of food should have happened to us. But ऐसा तो होता नहीं. That is the said. What is that? कि तद अन्नम न अशक्नोतु समर्थः अभवत् वाचा वदन क्रियया ग्रहीतुम उपादातु. So through the vadana kriya to consume the food, it was not possible for that vani. Clear? उसका explanation में सह प्रथमजः शरीरी, the first expressing, let us say, virat purusha, yat yadi, indeed if ha enat, in fact vachaha api in vacha agrahishyat, sorry, if at all by the speech, if he had taken the food in first instance, gruhitavan syad, then gruhitavan syad annam, अगर वाणी से बोलकर अगर वो खाना पाया होता, तो सर्वोपि लोकः, all other beings, तत् कार्यभूतत्वात्, they all being the effects of that prathamajaha virat purusha only, they all being his own effects. Abhivyahrutyah eva, only by taking the name of the food, annamatrapsat means annamatrapsya trupta abhavishyatu, you could have consumed the food and there should have been the trupti in that person just by uttering the name of the food. Nacha etadasti, so it is never seen anywhere. अतः therefore conclusion क्या है? न अशक्नोत वाचा ग्रहीतुम. So with the Vani, whose ability is to speak, with that the food which is there put in front in the plate, that Brahmana Purusha or Virat Purusha could not consume the food with his Vani. Iti avagacchamaha. Purvajaha api. The Purvajaha is that Virat Purusha also has not possible, for him also it was not possible for the food to consume through the body, that is by uttering the name of it. Otherwise अब तक उस फूड का नाम लेने के मात्र से ही फूड का कंजप्शन और उससे मिलने वाला नरिशमेंट होना चाहिए, है ना। दही का नाम लेते ही दही अंदर चला गया, मेडिसिन का नाम लेते ही मेडिसिन अंदर चला गया, मिठाई का नाम लेते ही मिठाई अंदर चला गया। और वो डेंजर भी है, लाइक इट्स ए भस्मासुर, जिसके सर पे हाथ लगे वो जलेगा। वो बेवकूफ ने ऐसा मांगा उरकासुर। कभी कभी नहाने के टाइम, बाल संवारने टाइम अपना हाथ अपने अपने सर पे आ सकता है ना। इट इज नॉट नेसेसरी दैट टुडे वी सी दैट भगवान विष्णु मेड हिम put his hand his own head and he died, but that risk is there to him at every moment. भाई एनी मिस्टेक, इवन नींद में भी, सपने में ऐसा करके अपना सर पे अपना खुद का हाथ लगाए मानो, वो वर तो काम कर रहा है ना, द बून गिवन बाय लॉर्ड, तो वो जला ही डालेगा उसको। Means this type of example here also, if for the Virat Purusha, by uttering the name of the word, if he has consumed the food, all of would have been done that. But thank God it doesn't happen that by taking the name of the food, that food enters us. नहीं तो क्या होगा कि by the mouth we take the name of the food, or even by the thought we take the name of the food has entered us. अब एक फ्रूट मार्केट में गए, देखा इतना फ्रूट्स, अब उसका नाम लिया तो सुनने को अच्छा लगता है, लेकिन वो साफ नाम लेने की मात्र से, इफ ऑल दोज फ्रूट्स और फूड्स हैव एंटर्ड आवर स्टमक, वी वुड हैव नेवर गॉट डाइजेस्टेड, हम तो उसी क्षण मर जाते। थैंक गॉड। अब एक इंद्री की बात है कि वाणी से, बोलने मात्र से फूड का कंजम्पशन होता, कितना डेंजर होता। Now imagine all the five indriyas by their own mere vyapara, if the food consumption happened, then हम कान से कितना खाना सुन रहे हैं, आंख से कितना खाना देख रहे हैं, मुंह से कितना खाना बोल रहे हैं, सारा खाना अंदर आ जाता तो मर जाएंगे हम, ओवर डाइजेशन होकर, इनडाइजेशन होकर। थैंक गॉड। So in Vyavahara, what we have to talk is, what we understand, very lighter one is what, therefore don't talk about the food, then create the food and give the food to others practically, and you also consume. That's the meaning of here. By Vani you can't consume the food. है ना। सुबह उठ गए, चलो नाश्ते में आज इडली बनाएंगे, उपमा बनाएंगे, पोहा बनाएंगे, पराठा बनाएंगे, ऐसे बोलते ही पराठा बन गया क्या? बोलो मत, करो और खिलाओ, बोलो मत, और खुद भी खाओ सिर्फ बोल के। डोंट इमेजिन टू बिकम तृप्त, लाइक दैट ऑल अदर इंद्रियास। तो वाणी का हमने देखा, देन ईच ऑफ द देवता which is in the form of each of the indriya, through that purusha, the prathamajaha, the virat purusha, tried to consume the food which is in front only. So with every of the indriya he failed to consume the food. Then while explaining every indriya's effort and its failure, toward the end the common sentence made is this: अगर उस इंद्रिय के उस कर्म से वो फूड का कंज्यूम होता, तो आगे वाले जो इस विराट पुरुष के इफेक्ट है, एवरी अदर जीवास, not only human, should be having the food consumed just by perceiving that food with various faculties. That is the meaning of the next 5 shlokas or 6 shlokas. In that first one is pranena. है ना। By prana shakti he tried, but if he had consumed the food with that, then everybody by prana shakti means inhaling, it is called here. Prana and grana go together. By smelling the food have come to everyone, but ऐसा नहीं देखा जाता। Third one is chakshusha ajigrukshat, that Virat Purusha tried to eat that food, consume the food with the eye, with its ability of seeing. But by seeing with the eye merely, if the Virat Purusha was successful in consuming the food, then his effects, all other jivas should be later on. Just by looking at the food with the eyes, the food should have been consumed. But this is not seen like that. We never see such thing. So too, next one is Shrotrena Ajigrukshata, with the ears that Virat Purusha wanted to consume the food, but Tanashaknotu, but he was not capable. So, what is the thing to be derived from that? Ki tat Shrotrena Grahitum, Sayadhena Shrotrena Grahishat. If that Virat Purusha was successful in consuming the food by listening about it in the ears, then later on every one of us also by just listening to the food ना रियली टीवी में कितना एड्स देखते हो भोजन आइटम्स का अब दीपावली को आ रहा है दशहरा दीपावली के लिए तो एवरी ऑफ दिस पीपल टॉक अबाउट अन्नम अन्नम अगर आप उसको कान से सुन रहे हो सुनने मात्र से फूड कंज्यूम हो गया तो कितना फूड कंज्यूम हो जाता बट दैट इज नॉट सीन आई होप यू आर कैचिंग हाउ द फूड इज इन फ्रंट none of the indriyas can consume it and what consumes it that alone can be can consume the food that will come in the later shlokas अब तो कितना देखा अत वाचा not possible then घ्राणेना और प्राणेना was not possible चक्षुषा not possible श्रोत्रेण not possible हो गया विराट पुरुष अपने इंद्रियों से उस खाने को कोशिश किया वो फेल हो गए so the Prathamaja Virat Purusha himself is failed. Then his effects we are, his children we are. We the human. How can in our Indriyas that capacity is there to consume the food with their own respective Indriya work, Indriya karma? नहीं होगा. Then तद त्वचा ajigrukshat. With the skin he wanted to consume the food by touching the food. Now imagine अगर Virat Purusha succeeded in the consumption of the food by just touching it by his own sparsha or tvacha, all of us बस केले को टच कर लिया केले का खाना हो गया एप्पल को टच कर दी तो एप्पल खाना का हो गया ऐसा तो देखने को नहीं मिलता कि people only by touching the food feel that that is like हनुमान जी मैना पर्वत को टच किया that is different respect somebody gives us the food हम उस टच करके भाई मान लो कि हमने लिया क्योंकि अभी दबा के खा के आए That's different. But by touching the food, food is not consumed. By looking at the food, food is not consumed. By listening to the food, food is not. By speaking about the food through the mouth, food is not consumed. Then finally, that manasa ajigrukshat. With the mind also, he could not consume the food. Or if at all, if he was successful in consuming the food by the mind sankalpa, that Virat Purusha, then dhyatvaha eva annamatrapsat, then it should have been the possibility, but just by doing the dhyana, the anna prapti hona chahiye tha. Manasa dhyana, dhyana is sankalp. संकल्प करने मात्र से फूड का कंजम्पशन खत्म हो चुका चाहिए था अगर विराट पुरुष ने संकल्प के द्वारा ही भोजन को खाया होता तो वो कोशिश किए बट वो फेल हो They were right from Virat Purusha, any beings in the world. Through right means only the consumption of food happens, not by the wrong means. And what is the right means? Who is the one? Therefore, if Vani could not take the food by speaking it with words, if the nose cannot take the food by smelling it, if the eyes could not take the food by looking at it, if the body could not take the food by touching it, if the mind could not take the food by doing sankalpa of it, then without food consumption, the Sakarya Karana Sanghata will destroy. How it is to be done? This is the last sloka. And one more is given, Tat Shishnena Ajigrukshata. The Shishna, the genital organ. अगर उसके द्वारा भोजन पाया होता है तो all the beings later on only through the visarjana kriya of the shishna that would have been the consumption of the food but ऐसा देखने को नहीं मिलता है then in what way the food has gone inside most important topic now we are discussing precisely that shloka we see tad apanena ajigrukshat finally अपान वायु से भोजन को लेने का कोशिश किया वो विराट पुरुष ने tad avayatu, then he could consume the food. Therefore, saha eshaha annasya grahaha. Therefore, this is what is the one which is the receiver and consumer of the food. Yad vayuhu annayuhu eva eshaha yad vayuhu. है ना? This apana vayu is the only one which could consume the food. थोड़ा इस पे हमको ध्यान देना है, तो इसको हम कल thoroughly पढ़ेंगे, है ना? In which the prana apana and their balance, their maintenance, how becomes a crucial part of maintaining our energy levels, etc. of the body and senses, with which alone we do sadhana to transcend all these only. ये वाला हम कल के दिन देखेंगे. Thank you. ओम 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 पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. बोल श्री दुर्गा माता की जय, श्रुति माता की जय. ओम तत्सत. ब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु. Happy Mahar Navami to all. Happy Vijayadashami also in advance. Just join in 2 minutes to see the Yoga Darshanam.